Assalamu alaikum. Hi everyone and welcome to your English channel Easy Back Prep. In today's lesson about reading comprehension, we're going to read about a Moroccan genius. Okay, so let's get started. If you remember in our previous lessons about in comprehension, we said that there are a number of things that you can do to help you understand the text and answer the questions, even if you come across some unfamiliar or difficult words. So as we said, the first thing that we should look at is or are the picture or pictures that accompany the text. They can give you a lot of information about the text. They are not put there for no reason. They're put there because they are about, or the text is going to talk about those people. So don't neglect them. Have a look at them and try to look also at the title or any subtitles that you find under the picture. They are really very useful. The second, so we said the pictures that accompany the text, the titles and subtitles that you have in the text, and the last one is the questions that they ask you, the questions that you're supposed to answer. If you read them before you read the text, they can guide you and they can give you hints about the content of the text, and they can help you understand it and answer them in the end. So let's have a look at the text. So here you have the pictures of this Moroccan genius who is Mr. Slawi in the White House, Rose Garden, May 15th. So it's 2020 when he was invited by the US President Donald Trump. Okay, so let's have a look at this text. We're going to go through it so that you can have an idea, and after that we're going to move to the comprehension questions. So Monsef Slawi was born on July 22nd, 1959 in Agadir, Morocco. His father worked in the irrigation business. Irrigation, yeah, تقنية الري, in the irrigation business, or watering. So watering or irrigating, to water, to irrigate, irrigation business, and died when Slawi was a teenager. Okay, he was a teenager, was مراهق. Leaving his mother to raise him and his 4 siblings, to raise him, okay, to so that he can grow up. So she watches him while he was growing up, raised him and his 4 siblings. Siblings are brothers and sisters. Siblings. How many siblings do you have? How many brothers and sisters do you have? Slawi graduated from Mohammed V High School in Casablanca. So he graduated, which means that he finished his high school from Mohammed V High School. The name of the school is Mohammed V High School in Casablanca. In 1976, he left Morocco at the age of 17 to study medicine in France, but he missed the registration deadline to the new registration procedures and his mother being ill. So he left, or he went to France at the age of 17 to study medicine, but he couldn't register, he couldn't enroll. Why? Because of the deadline, due to the deadline. Okay, which means that the deadline is a date limit. That, for example, they tell you they should come, for example, Monday. So Monday is the deadline. If you come after Monday, you won't be accepted. So the deadline. So due to the deadline, due to new registration procedure. So there were new rules for the registration or for the enrollment. شروط التسجيل, etc. So procedures. And his mother being ill, so because of his mother's illness, he enrolled at the University of Brussels, at the Free University of Brussels. Brussels is Bruxelles. So he enrolled Belgica. He enrolled, which means he registered تسجل at the university, the Free University of Brussels, where he earned a PhD. He earned a PhD. He got his PhD in molecular biology and immunology in 1983. بيولوجيا ديال الذرة, molecular biology in 1983. He got a job teaching immunology at University of Mons in Belgium. So he was teaching علم المناعة at the University of Mons in Belgium, Belgica. Slawi has also authored more than 100 research papers, which means that he wrote more than 100 research papers. أبحاث. 1988, after consulting for 3 years. 1988, after consulting for 3 years كعملي كاستشاري, Slawi joined Smith K-Line RIT as a vaccine researcher. So it was a laboratory in which they do research on microbes and so on, and vaccines. In 2006, he was appointed head of research and development, which means he was appointed, they chose him as the head, the supervisor of research and development, developing vaccines and researching microbes and trying to find vaccines for viruses, microbes, etc., bacteria, etc. The Slawi Center, at the Slawi Center for Vaccine Research in Rockville, Maryland, named after Slawi, which means that this center was named after Slawi. They gave him the name of Slawi. And here's the first and Development Institute in the United States was opened. The Slawi Center was opened on December 14, 2016. So here they gave the name of Slawi to the center. Okay, in 2006, he was appointed head of research and development, which means that he was the supervisor, he was the head researcher, and also in development, researching viruses, experimenting, developing vaccines for these viruses and so on. So he was the supervisor at the top. And the Slawi Center for Vaccine Research in Rockville, Maryland. So this center was named after him. So the Slawi Center for Vaccines, and it was in Rockville, Maryland, in the United States, named after Slawi. So they give him the name of Slawi. And it's the first research and development institute. So it was the Institute for Research and Development in the United States, and it was opened on December 14, 2016. Slawi spent 30 years working as the GCK. During his time there, while he was working there, Slawi oversaw the development of numerous vaccines. So he supervised the findings of vaccines, including Cervarix, so it's the name of a vaccine to prevent cervical cancer, so for brain cancer. Rotarix to prevent gastroenteritis in children, so it has something to do with stomach problems. And Ebola vaccine. He also spent 27 years researching on malaria. So 27 years just to find a vaccine for malaria, and which is the name of the vaccine is Mosquirix, which was approved by the European Medicine Agency, الوكالة الأوروبية للأبحاث الطبية, in 2015, and praised as the first in the world. This vaccine that he found for malaria was praised, was well spoken of. For example, people speak about it, but it was well evaluated by specialists in the world. So they give it a lot of importance because it was a reliable vaccine. It was a good vaccine. On May 15, 2020, President Donald Trump officially announced Operation Wrap Up. So أعلن Operation Wrap Up Speed, العملية للإحاطة السريعة بكوفيد-19. Operation Wrap Speed. Operation Wrap Speed project, مشروع, to develop and deliver 300 million doses of a vaccine for the coronavirus 2019 by January 2020. Then, so here we say that Donald Trump, in this Operation Wrap Speed, he asked the people he appointed to try to find a vaccine for the virus and to be able to deliver, okay, which means to give it to the American population, 300 million doses, okay, and we said doses, yeah, جرعات, of a vaccine for the coronavirus in 2019 by 2020 to 2021. So Slawi, who called the time frame of 12 to 18 months very aggressive, which means that Slawi, okay, when he says very aggressive, which means that it's something very hard. It's a very hard challenge, 12 to 18 months, because as we know before here in the text, they say he spent 27 years looking for the vaccine for malaria, okay, which he found, and the name of the vaccine was Mosquirix. So he said that it was very short, but it was achievable, okay, which means that it's possible to find this by then, so by 2020. So he was Slawi was named, he was appointed as the chief advisor, okay, which means that he was المستشار الرئيسي للمشروع of the project, working alongside with Chief Operating Officer and 4-star General Gustav F. Perna. So which means that Mosef Slawi was working with General Gustav F. Perna. Was a 4-star, okay, which means it's 4 stars, okay, which means that he was General Mumtaz, 4 ديال النجوم. President Trump described Slawi as one of the most respected men in the world. وصفه بأنه من الناس المحترمين في العالم in the production, في إنتاجي, and really on the formulation of vaccines, في إنتاج اللقاحات, while Secretary of Health and Human Services, بينما الكاتب العام للصحة والخدمات الإنسانية ولا الخدمات الاجتماعية Human Services, Alex Azar, praised him. كيتكلم عليه بواحد طريقة, he gave him a lot of importance, he respected him, he gave him importance, and he says that he's one of the world, he's the world's most experienced and successful vaccine developer. من بين أحسن المتخصصين اللي عندهم تجربة وناجحة في الإنتاج ديال اللقاحات. Okay, now let's go straight to the questions and see what we can do. So here in the first question is choose the best answer. Choose the best answer. The text is, so is it a biography or is it an autobiography? So you know the difference between a biography and an autobiography. A biography is the story or the history of someone's life written by another person, a biography. And B, an autobiography is the history of a person's life written by the person himself or herself. So that's so we can now we can find the answer whether it is a biography or autobiography, and of course it is a biography because it's written by somebody else. Number 2, answer the following questions. Number, who took care of Monsif and his siblings after his father's death? Okay, which means that who looked after him, who raised him after his father's death. So it was his mother, of course. His siblings, we said, his brothers and sisters. Number 2, how many vaccines are mentioned in the text? If we go back to the text, we're going to find that the vaccines are here. We have Cervarix, that's the number 1. Rotarix, that number 2. Ebola vaccine number yes, Rotarix, and Ebola vaccine, so that's number 3. And the vaccine on Maria, so it's Mosquirix. So that's number 4. So there are four vaccines mentioned in the text. Where did he get his baccalaureate? He got it in, if you remember, he got it in Mohammed the fifth high school in Casablanca. That's where he got his baccalaureate. He graduated from Mohammed V high school in Casablanca. Next question, where is the Slawi Center for Vaccines Research? So the name of, we talked about the research center which was named after Monsif Slawi, and we said that it was in Rockville, Maryland in the United States. Next one, what is RUP Speed? What is RUP Speed? Project. So RUP Speed project. So it is RUP Speed project is a project which was announced by the President of the United States, Donald Trump, to develop and deliver 300 million doses of vaccine for the coronavirus disease. So it was the project to develop a vaccine for coronavirus, and that will be given to the American population. So it's a project. It's a project to find a vaccine and give it to the American population. Number 6, when will the COVID-19 vaccine be available according to text? To the text, so according to the text, it should be available by January 2021. And maybe it can be found maybe before that date, hopefully. Number 3, complete the following sentences according to the text. And here you are going to complete with the information from the text. Monsif has published, and if you remember, if we go back to the text, here we say he has authored more than 100 research papers, so which means that he has published more than 100 research papers. The center named after Monsif opened on, so when did the center open? Okay, the center named after Monsif Slawi, so it was open on December 14, 2016. The next question is Slawi worked at for, and here you have years. Where did he work? In the text they say Slawi spent 30 years working at GSK, so 30 years. So here we're going to say the answer is going to be he worked at the GSK for 30 years. The president of the USA considers Monsif Slawi so how did he describe him? He says that he was one of the most respected men in the world in the production and the formulation of vaccines. Number 4, question 4, find in the text which words or expressions which meaning the same as the following. And we have talked about that. So brothers and sisters in paragraph 1. So you go to paragraph 1 to look for them. So in paragraph 1 we have this one. So here his father worked in the irrigation business and died when Sla was a teenager, leaving his mother and his mother to raise him and his 4 siblings. So the answer is siblings. And then they say he got in paragraph number 2. So Slawi graduated in 1976. He left Morocco at the age of 17 to study medicine in France, but missed the registration deadline due to new registration procedures and his mother being ill. He enrolled at the Free University of Brussels, where he earned a PhD. So he earned, it means he got a PhD, he got his doctorate in molecular biology and immunology. Okay, so to end this class, I can say that maybe one of the pieces of advice I would like you to pay attention to or to give you is to look at the pictures that accompany the exam paper. Look at the titles and the subtitles. Read the questions before. Read the questions that they give you before you read the text, because they guide you and help you understand the text. So we've come to the end of this video. Let's just hope to meet you. I hope to meet you soon. Goodbye and take care.